10 years back, KTM changed the game in India with the launch of the 390 Duke, a bike with fantastic performance, handling and great value for money as well. Then in 2017, we got the Gen 2 Duke, which was, well, a good upgrade but not a game changer per se. However, this Gen 3, well, this could just be that game changer we have been waiting for.
To find out how much of a game changer this new Duke really is, we need to answer some important questions.
To answer that question, first let's talk about the motor. Now Bajaj claims that this is an all-new motor and even the gear capacity has gone up by 26cc and it makes 2.5 PS and 2 Nm more than before. But that's not the whole story. While this is still a short stroke motor and the bore is same as the one on the previous bike, the stroke has gone up, which means it makes more torque lower down. In fact, this bike's peak power and peak torque come 500 rpm lower than before. And that's not all. Thanks to a larger airbox, this bike even has a better torque curve, which means you get 80% of a peak torque from 5000 rpm onwards. That means regardless of what gear you're in or what speed, once you get the motor past 5000, it just wants to fly. So if you're on the highway, overtakes are a lot simpler. If you're on the mountain road or on the racetrack, your corner exits are much quicker. And in fact, on the Bajaj test track, we found ourselves carrying one gear higher through all the corners than we would have otherwise. And it's this mid-range performance that makes this Gen 3 Duke just so lovable. Now, handling has always been the Duke's forte, and here the Gen 3 doesn't disappoint either. Now, the main frame isn't changed all that much from the last gen, but it's got a brand new aluminum subframe and a brand new monoshock which is side mounted, as well as a retuned front fork. And also the rake has been pulled in by half a degree. But more than that, this bike is 4 kg lighter than before, and half that weight loss comes from unsprung mass, which means your brakes, your wheels, your axles are lighter. And in fact, that also means the handling has become much sharper than before. It's almost telepathic. Just think of a direction and the bike will just snap to it without any effort. But at the same time, the bike also feels planted through the corners, which means you can carry some nonsense speeds through the turns and not even know about it. But if I had to nitpick, it will be these tires, because these Mercedes M5s are edge-headed and, well, they just feel a little bit squiggly on the edge.
KTM India has finally given the 390 Duke adjustable suspension with this Gen 3 bike. And even adjusting this is really easy. You only have 5 settings for compression and rebound for the WP Apex fork, which you can hand adjust. You have the stock setting in the middle, 2 softer and 2 firmer. It's the same for the rebound at the rear, just 5 settings. The rear preload though does have 10 steps, but these will require you to break out the toolkit to adjust. That said, even the stock settings, although a bit firm, handle bumps and potholes on our road beautifully. Braking on this new Duke is actually quite fantastic. Not only do you get tons of stopping power, brake feel and initial bite are great too. So you want to trail brake into corners with confidence? No problem at all.
Firstly, about the comfort on the seat, and the seat is actually quite spacious, so you've got lots of room here. And then the seat height is now just 800 mm, which means even if you're a shorty, you can get your feet on the ground very easily. In fact, now the seat height is lower than the first gen Duke as well. But even if you're taller, it's not a problem, because KTM is released spacers that will bump the seat height up by 20 mm. The overall posture also is quite comfortable, because unlike the first gen Duke, which was very cramped, and the second gen, which was a little spread out, this one is somewhere in the middle. So if you found either of those bikes uncomfortable, I think this one will strike the right middle ground. At city speeds, the 390 motor has always been a bit of a diva. Now while they fixed that to a certain extent with the Gen 2, this Gen 3 with the bigger airbox and wider torque spread is much better in the city. In fact, you can carry 40 kph in 5th gear without any issues, and you can go even a bit slower, say 30-35 in 5th. So while the bike complains there, it doesn't really struggle all that much and doesn't throw a tantrum. And even throttle calculation, especially in street mode, is so good that it actually made a big difference. You can carry first and second gear in slow traffic without having to use the clutch all that much. And if you have to shift, the clutch shifter actually finally works. So whether you're shifting up or down, as long as you have some revs, it'll do it very, very smoothly. It's a bit clunky at lower speeds and lower revs, but it still works nonetheless. In fact, it works so effectively that I forgot the clutch exists, and when I was coming to a stop, I stalled the bike 2 or 3 times.
What about heating, you ask? Well, we rode the bike in stop-go traffic on a fairly warm day, but thanks to the new larger radiator with 2 fans, we could barely feel any engine heat on our legs even when not moving. And even if you want to go touring on the highway, this motor really shines now because it's a lot smoother than before.
It's not butter smooth, of course, it's still got that KTM single cylinder vibes, but they are not too much. So at 100 kph in 6th gear, you're doing a little under 6,000 rpm, and you can feel a mild buzz on the foot pegs and on the handlebars, but it's quite tolerable. In fact, go a little faster at 120 kph in 6th gear, and those vibes almost die down completely. So you can cruise all day at 120 without breaking a sweat.
And with the fuel tank that's now been increased to 15 liters, this Duke should be able to go a lot farther before you need to refuel.
Now design is subjective, but I really think that this new shape looks quite nice and aggressive and looks much better in the flesh than it does in pictures. But I have some grouses, primarily the DRLs. I mean, they just look, I don't know, not a big fan. And then there's the color scheme. Don't get me wrong, I love orange, but this is just too much orange. In fact, there are 3 different shades of orange right there. There's a gloss orange plastic here, there's matte orange metal on the tank, and this orange leather type seat. So it's just like way too much orange. In fact, the blue bike looks much better, and this is coming from someone who loves bright motorcycles. And then when it comes to build quality, it feels fine for the most part, but if you come closer and look at the plastics, they are a bit iffy at places. Like the gap on this black plastic on the tank is quite prominent. Also the gaps between this part and the tank also are very pronounced. So in those terms, the bike doesn't feel as premium as it should.
Yes, it is. Although the 5-inch color TV screen is the same size as before, the layout has been revised so it's a lot easier to read. The screen can be controlled with the all-new switchgear, which is now a lot easier to use with gloved hands. That said, we wished that the layout of the screen would properly change between the 3 riding modes: rain, street and track. And speaking of riding modes, rain mode cuts down the power, while street gives you full power with a low throttle response. Track mode gives you the sharpest throttle with full power. Even the ABS and traction control settings change based on the riding mode. And this new 390 gets cornering ABS as well as cornering traction control. Plus in track mode, you also get launch control. So 0 to 100 in less than 6 seconds. Yup, that's what KTM claims.
When this new Duke was announced, I was quite excited, but that's mostly because I have been a 390 Duke owner for almost 10 years now. But I was not prepared to realize just how special this bike feels to ride. And believe me, it feels really special. The only place where it might pinch is the price, which I admit is a bit on the higher side. But compared to the last gen Duke, it's only 13 grand more. And for that you're getting more performance, much more fun, more refinement and a whole lot more features. So even if the Duke wasn't on your radar, I would say go ahead and take a test ride. Because ever so often there comes a bike that just blows your mind when it comes to performance and handling and everything. And this bike, this new Duke, is one of those.